Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. We are in an Airbus A320, I believe. Now, I have no idea what half the commands do, so we're probably in for a bumpy flight. This airplane's a little more advanced, and we are having some instrument problems. As you can see here, my glass display is screwed up, so we might switch aircraft here in a second and pick a different airplane. This is a pretty cool. This is Aerofly 2. Thanks to Mitsu Tayo for purchasing this for me. We are in Salt Lake City, Utah, getting ready to fly south. Once again, though, I'm having some issues with the cockpit, so bear with me here while we. It's a brand new game. The game is still in development. I believe we're still kind of in early access, though. It might be considered released at this point, but the game still has some things that they're working out. We'll try a different aircraft and see if we can work out some of these bugs. Maybe a Learjet. Something that does not have a glass cockpit probably would work. I've been flying some of the non-glass cockpit airplanes. Haven't had any problems. So let's try this guy here. Start it up. I have no volume control for volume so far in the game. Nope. Glass cockpit is not functional. Not sure why that happened. Everything else is looking great, but for some reason the cockpit's just not working. That kind of sucks. Okay, so let's grab another airplane. I'm sure it's a driver issue. I'll figure it out, but we'll go with something a little bit more vintage, I guess. That won't have a glass cockpit. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work. And let's go ahead and fly. Bummer. I wanted to fly down to Salt Lake City, make a kind of a long trip, but obviously we're not going to get that today. So let's go ahead and this is going to be a short flight. I may do a short series on this game. It's really cool. It's so smooth when it runs. You can see here we're running super smooth. It doesn't have any air traffic control or anything in it yet, but it does have silky smooth frame rates. So, and this is a pretty high detail airport. We're running at 80 frames a second. Out in the desert, I was running like 130 to 200 frames a second. So it's pretty smooth. But we don't, unfortunately, have to contact ATC because there is no ATC. This version of the game has pretty much all of the Southwest United States. I apologize, I have to talk kind of loud because obviously the airplane's loud. So it basically has Utah, Arizona, Nevada, California, kind of like American Truck Simulator. I'm hoping you can hear my audio. If not, I might have to scrap this video. But we'll take a look and see. I'm using my hand like you would a pilot with a radio. Roger that, tower. One of the things I like about this versus the Microsoft version of the game is that we actually have name brand aircraft. So we have FedEx planes, UPS planes, American Airlines, United. You don't have these like fake like Orbit Airlines. It's actually real stuff. Pretty cool. I like the shadows in the cockpit. That's pretty cool. Oops, runway heading. Clear for takeoff, fly runway heading. Things included in the game include the Grand Canyon, Monument Valley, some other cool Utahian sites. As you know, Utah is a very beautiful state, a lot of really cool national parks. Up ahead here we can see the Great Salt Lake on the map. It's to our left and also looks like maybe ahead a bit, but mostly left. Let's go ahead and take a flight over the Great Salt Lake. And we'll find a small municipal airport to land at. Once again, I need to find the volume settings. I don't know how loud this is. It's hard for me to tell until I go back and listen to it. But unfortunately, there's no control. You can see here's some marshiness going on underneath us. I have been to Salt Lake City in real life, and it is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if I would live there or not. It's pretty hot in the summer, but it's a little more temperate than Phoenix, so I might consider it. Someday I do want to move out west. It's going to be a while, probably a good 10 years. I'm going to wait till my kids are grown up, and John's like 14 or 15 years old, and they can kind of decide if they want to stay with me or go with their mom. At that point, I may consider moving. I would like them to grow up around their mom, but I love the West. I've always loved it. I haven't been out there except for work in the past 20 years because I just can't afford it. But it's one of my favorite places. Every time I go out there, I feel like I'm coming home. You can see here just the beauty, the expansive beauty that is out there. One of the things I really like about this flight simulator is they do it a little bit better than Microsoft does as far as the photorealistic scenery. So this really is what Salt Lake looks like. Now the ground's a little bit like here. It's close. It seems like it might be a little too colorful, but the mountain ranges look just like they do out there. Probably make a left turn here over the Salt Lake, and then we're going to head to U-42 as our landing airport. Here you can see to the right of me are part of what I believe is considered the Great Salt Flats. This is a big dry area. In places like these along the Salt Lake, it's where they set the land speed record, these salt flats. So when you ever see those rocket cars where they take them out and they get them to go 600-700 miles an hour, break the sound barrier on the ground, this is where those kind of test drives happen. Right there, that Great Salt Pan right there, and the one to the south, that's where that goes on. Also, other places around the lake, but there's salt flats all over the place here. There are parts of the Salt Lake where they have bridges crossing them for automobiles. I did get to cross there when I was out visiting Salt Lake City. And it, like, you know, as you can see here, it's just quite a sight. It's just beautiful. There's a road crossing the Salt Flats right there. Now, as you can see, though, we are missing the buildings for Salt Lake City. What's up, Ryan? I won't be able to hear you because it's really loud. What? Yes. They are loud. You're correct. Yeah, Ryan's actually flown a Cessna through Civil Air Patrol. Yeah, he always got skunked when they went to do it. And then his friends that are younger are in, and now they get to fly all the time. They never let you fly it? Oh, because they'd always like have it canceled because of wind. You're like, thanks, jerks. It is salt. This is Salt Lake City. This is the Great Salt Lake we're about to fly over. These are the salt. I was telling people, these are the salt flats where they used to do the land speed records. All that gray stuff. That's all salt, sand. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'd like to go too. Maybe we can go as a family, like you and me and Mark or something. Drop C. What if I don't want to be as an ocean? Oh! Now here we got a bit of a graphic error going on here. Look at that. Oh, that was interesting. Okay, have fun. Ryan's going to go rock out on his guitar. Kind of suspends the reality there. So we're making a heading towards U42. Looks like it's straight ahead. Utah 42. Never been there before, don't know what it looks like. So if this were real life right now, we'd be contacting approach or tower for Salt Lake City International because we are, I believe, within their airspace. I'm staying pretty low, but I am at 6,000 feet, but we're definitely, I would think the airspace starts higher, like probably 7,000 or 8,000 feet, because we're already like, I believe Salt Lake City is several thousand feet above sea level to begin with. Usually the first layer of an air traffic control circle is at 3,000, or the second layer is at the first layer is at surface, the second layer is at 3,000 feet in a large circle, 3,000 feet above ground level. So it could be 6,000 feet, which we're just under. So if this is a 3,000 foot high area, we are underneath the radius of the surface restriction goes just around the airport 5 miles. The second layer, which is where we probably are flying, is 10 miles wide across, or 10 miles in diameter, and it starts at 3,000 feet and goes up to probably, or 6,000 feet goes up to probably like 8,000 feet or 9,000 feet, maybe less. And then there's another cake layer on top of that. Sometimes there's 4 layers. It just depends on how big. Now, Salt Lake City is a very big airport, so. But there's no traffic today since we're playing Aerofly. So I will see in the meantime if I can figure out what's going on with those glass displays not working. It's a problem because when I go into the maps and select the airport, I have the same issue. Like half of the ground is missing, or half of the map is missing. I cut back on our speed a little bit. We're right at about 110 knots. Good cruising speed. Once again, I don't see Utah 42 yet. It's out there though. I think I might see it right above our dash. Nope, that's not it. Still further out. Now I do have the graphics turned up, everything on all the way. We're getting about 104 frames a second. You can see there's some weird like dithering going on on the ground further ahead in the green areas. We're holding right about 5,500 feet. Looks to be maybe about 2,000 feet above ground level, is my guess. 1,500 feet, something like that. We'll figure that out when we land. Airport's ahead, slightly to the right. Unicom 8, this is Cessna. Oh, Golf What's Y? Oh, man. Should probably know my own call sign. Yankee. What's M? I'm trying to remember the airplane phonetics. It's been a long time. No. Golf, Yankee. It's not Mary. I always do 2 Lima Golf because, or Alpha Golf Charlie. It's my initials. Cessna Alpha Golf Charlie. We are 4 miles south of your position, requesting landing runway. I don't know what his runways are. 20, right? Okay, I've got the glide scope indicator. We're going to cut the throttle and begin our descent. Put our stage 1 flaps down. Putting down our stage 2 flaps. I'll have to look up the M, the phonetic, the aircraft phonetic for M. And we're going on our final stage of flaps. That should bring us down to about 70 knots. And right there we hit it. We are on glide scope. This is Cessna Golf Yankee Mary on final. Huh. Having some rudder issues here. Sorry. We're a little bit above glide scope. We need to lose some altitude here. Cutting back on the throttle so we can drop our nose a little bit. Get back on glide scope. There we go. We're on the glide scope again. A little bit high, but we're okay. There, now we're right in. Just locked right in. Cessna tends to be a little floaty, plus I have the flaps all the way down. That's going to make the aircraft float a little bit, almost too easily. We're at 67 knots. We're a little slow, but we're doing all right. And we're right on glide scope now. Good. Perfect landing. Sorry, my brake and view center are on the same button. All right, so we have completely successfully landed at U42. Not sure what airport that is, but let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the Grand Canyon for fun. So we're going to go into the menu system here. I'm going to pick a different airplane just for fun. What do we got? I mean, we'll try the Peruvian Air Force. And location, Grand Canyon International. See here, this is what I'm talking about. My menus are messed up. And oh, we went south. Okay, there's Provo, Bryce Canyon, Cedar City, Grand Canyon National Park, Grand Canyon Bar 10. I mean, this should be right there. So let's pick the. If we fly straight, we'll go right into it. So let's go ahead and take the fighter jet, the Air Macho 339. Oh yeah, no glass display in this airplane, so no problems. Let's take this little Peruvian fighter jet. Does this thing have flaps? Yep, okay, flat, there they are. Take off flaps. Brakes on, full power. And brakes off. I probably should have located my airspeed indicator. I think I got it. There we go. I think we're into flight zone. Yep, here we go. And gears going up. Flaps are going up. And this is exactly what it looks like around the Grand Canyon. I will attest to that. I've been there once again. And you get all this little green stubble on the ground, little short bushes growing. Not sure, there's some kind of facility down there. And straight ahead, we're about to get a breathtaking view of the Grand Canyon. You'll notice it's straight ahead. You're going to start seeing the walls disappear, and we'll make a left turn and start heading towards Las Vegas. I'm going to back off on the power just a hair. We are at full power right now. Running about 80%. I'm adjusting my trim, and there is the Grand Canyon. Looks great. Somewhere down on the bottom there is the Colorado River. There it is, the big gash that runs through the middle of the United States. Well, the Southwest anyway. And it is quite a sight. I visited this area when I was a teenager. Walked about a third of the way down the canyon. It took a good hour on trails just like that. It was really cool. I was a lot skinnier then. I'd still do it now though I'd probably have to have a lot of water to get back up. There's the Colorado River down on the bottom. You can see just little snippets of it. And we're nearing, looks like 500 miles an hour, kilometers an hour. And that just gives you an idea how huge the canyon is, because even at 500 miles or kilometers an hour, I'm sorry, not kilometers, knots, we are still slowly moving over the canyon. We'll get down in there for a little more fun flying. I think in real life you probably would not be allowed to do this, considering that it's a natural historical. I mean, I know for a fact you can't fly drones here in most of the places, though there are parts of the canyon which are not parked off. You can fly in those spots, but there is no drone usage in any national parks anymore. They've pretty much, no one's allowed to make videos using a drone, so you'd have to use a real airplane to get this kind of footage. Or satellite imagery like we have here. But really cool stuff. So there's the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. And it goes on for, I think, 300 some odd miles, something like that. Sweet. Try to get down by the river a little closer here. There's a raft right there. There's some dude puking. You do see rafts going down here quite a bit, actually. A lot of people do whitewater rafting in the Grand Canyon. It'd be quite a trip. Or you can just go to the IMAX theater and watch it there and get a similar experience without having to actually camp at the bottom of the, with all those snakes and spiders. I don't like either. So there's the Grand Canyon. Let's go ahead and return to Grand Canyon International Airport. Hold on to your butts. And look at totally different view coming back the other way because of the sunlight. That's one of the cool things about this game is that the sun actually lights up stuff. So if you look behind us, everything looks red and white. Ahead of us, it all looks dark brown because the sun is over there. And this side is not getting lit up as well. That is really cool. This will be a great place to take my new Vatera Sunder K5 Blazer rock climber. Yes, I would love to take my little truck out west. Once again, no remote control devices in the park, so doesn't matter if it would be fun. You're just not allowed to do it. I can dream. Now, I've never landed this airplane before. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. We'll see. Got a speed brake set. Got flaps, gear. There's only 2 flap levels, takeoff and down. So we should be fine. Airport's to our left. Whee! There it is. I can see it off in the distance. This is what a lot of the West looks like. There's just not a whole lot out there. My friend spent a week on vacation on Lake Mead in Nevada, and his comment when he got back was, I spent 2 weeks trying to figure out exactly all the things that you can do with dirt. Because that's all there is out there. Basically, there's just plain old dirt. I'm going to start backing off the throttle here. I don't see a call sign in here, so I'm not doing too well with the M word anyway. I'll have to look that up. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated until the ride comes to a complete stop. Do not unfasten your seatbelts until we are on the ground and in the terminal. Flaps down. Gear down. Secondary flaps down, throttle off all the way. We're just coasting at this point. Green lights on the flaps. We're on the gear. We're good to land. There's the runway to our left. Yeah, this is a floaty airplane. Wow. Like, it feels like we're almost dead stop, doesn't it? I mean, we are just barely moving. I'm assuming we're going 150 knots. But Roger, this is whatever kind of airplane this is. Agravechete macho. Permission to land runway 27 left. To Lima Golf. I don't mind taking it slow on an airplane I'm not familiar with, so we're just going to ease our way down onto the ground. That was a nice flight. You can see here, this is Aerofly 2 once again. Huge area of scenery, all of the southwest of the United States. All the way into California. I saw San Francisco, Los Angeles, maybe Southern California, Santa Barbara, or where B-Dog is. Oh my gosh, I'm completely drawing a blank. Not Santa Barbara. San San freaking Luis Obispo. I can't remember. Oh my gosh. San Juan. Oh God, I'm sorry, folks. My brain is just not working. San Diego. Oh my gosh. That was really hard. San Diego. I can't believe I had that hard of a time remembering the name of like one of the most famous cities in California. So I could literally fly from here to San Diego in a non-stop flight. Pretty cool. Not as big as the Microsoft Flight Simulator and no air traffic as of yet, but still, this is a lot of fun. And by the way, this is runway 30, not 27. My apologies. I'm sorry. Runway 3. I'm sorry. Yeah. We are heading north and just barely east. 3 degrees. 30 degrees, really. That means runway 3. And we're a little high, so we're going to put that nose down a little bit, cut some speed. Keep the jet rolling, though. It's probably the longest landing cycle for a military aircraft ever taken. Usually they just zoom right in, you know, making a turn onto the runway, like still turning as they come down. But that's okay. Once again, it's aircraft I'm not familiar with, so I want to take my time. Don't really want to land in the desert. I'd prefer to land on the runway. Keeping the float up. And we're still a little high, but that's okay. I mean, even under no power, man, this thing just floats. All right. Bring her down, Charlie. Come on. Get her down. There we go. Nice. A little bit right of center, but we're okay. And I got the speed brake on. Brakes off. Awesome. And we're down. Going about 40 knots right now, 30 knots. And we'll exit the runway when able. Coming up here on the right. Now, I don't know how to change the camera view. Is it view? Yeah, there we go. I can't pan around with that view. There we go. There's our pan view. Oh, and see, you were riding with me in the back. I knew you guys were with me. That was a pretty lame exit from the runway. Usually they just run up and do this. I was playing with the camera, so. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this look at Aerofly 2.0, the American Desert version, and I really dig it. I think this is a pretty cool looking. There's the air brake. Pretty cool expansion to the Aerofly series, and I'm going to be flying all over. I love the Southwest, so I'm going to be visiting different sites and stuff. And if I find something cool, I'll bring you guys back on. And you know, once I get the graphics working with the glass cockpit and stuff, so you can see there the shadows are disappearing. That's once again some kind of graphical error that I'm having with the game. So we'll figure that stuff out, and then we'll get it. I want to take a nice big flight with a 737 from, you know, one of the airports to another one, but I need to have my gauges working in order to do that. So, all right, people, have a great night. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you on, well, the air, in the air and on the ground and on the farms, and you know, all those great things. Have a great night, and I will see you. Thanks. Bye. And I should be sure to shout out one more time for Mitsutayo, who Mitsutayo also bought me the version 1, and he purchased this for me as version 2. And so thanks again once again, Mitsutayo. Always appreciated and definitely will be used. Have a great night and see you on the web.